Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel for 6 things we learnt from Chelsea 1, Borussia Dortmund 1. I am fresh off the back of the pre-season friendly watch along, the first one. So if you missed it, well, I understand it. It's the middle of the night in the UK. It's relatively late at night also in the US. We were playing on a pitch that was caressed by the voice of Ed Sheeran yesterday. The pitch was disgraceful. And I think if it wasn't for the pitch, Chelsea would have won this game. If you're new to this series, 6 things we learn is my immediate reactionary response to a Chelsea game. Green boxes mean good, blue mean the best player, yellow are things that weren't awful but can be improved, and red is bad. Within this series, we tend to take a look first of all at the way the game went. Chelsea, in my opinion, deserved to win this football match. We created big chances, but we couldn't finish. Levi Colwill, fresh off the back of signing a 6-year Chelsea deal, he had 2 incredible opportunities to score from literally 1 or 2 yards out, and he missed them both. Other than that, very solid at the back. Chelsea had other opportunities. Christopher Nkunku limps off the field injured because he was fouled. It should have been a penalty. The ball falls to Nicholas Jackson, hits it straight at the goalkeeper, but the angle was against him. It was brilliantly saved from Max Meyer in the Dortmund goal. Overall, Chelsea finished pre-season in America without losing a game. 2 1-1 draws and 3 very impressive victories. Pochettino, 5 games as Chelsea coach, 1 trophy, 0 losses. We absolutely love to see it. And there are so many positives. Within this video today, I'm going to talk a little bit about yellow boxes because we don't really give yellows very often, but there are a few things that are still teething, pre-season issues that aren't worth getting all worked up about, aren't worth getting frustrated and annoyed about because it is pre-season. We can celebrate winning the Premier League Series trophy, but it needs to remain tongue-in-cheek. Chelsea have got bigger aspirations than winning the pre-season friendly tour in the USA. The way that the game went in terms of the balance of things, it was a very slow start to the match. As I said, Ed Sheeran having a concert in front of 73,000 on the grass, beer spillages, probably a bit of gin, bit of vodka in the corners, who knows. The bounces were all over the place. The players took a bit of time to settle into the pitch here in Chicago. And then there were spells of play where Chelsea were creating good opportunities in succession. We were struggling to connect the ball in midfield. I think Enzo, Gallagher linking up with the final third. There was one big problem in this game that I'm going to talk about as a red box. I think you guys will probably know who it was. But in terms of that link up and in terms of those combinations in the final third, there was something lacking today. There are a lot of good positives, but there was definitely something lacking. Before we get into the boxes of this 6 things we learned video, thank you for all the love and support on all of the content. Hit the like button if you're happy that we're unbeaten in pre-season and you enjoy the series, and make sure you are subscribed to the George Benson football channel if you haven't already. But we begin. Box number 1 is going to start here with a positive because Nicholas Jackson, yet again, has absolutely excelled in this football game. Nicholas Jackson has become that player now that, as much as we may have had questions before this pre-season tour, is he going to be good enough? Is 9 goals in his last 8 La Liga games for Villarreal a good enough case study of data to suggest that he is going to fit in at Chelsea and be that man? I'm telling you now, after 5 pre-season friendlies, I am absolutely 100% sold on Nicholas Jackson. There are multiple reasons why. With his back to goal, he reminds me of Didier Drogba. His ability to turn on his left foot or his right foot, roll the shoulder, get round the back of a defender is magnificent. I've not seen this from a Chelsea striker since Thiago Costa. The way that he drops deep, that was one of the facets of his game that we looked at when we signed him. And if you look at the compilations all over YouTube of Nicholas Jackson at Villarreal, he's even said it himself. He's not the kind of striker who's going to wait there sniffing out opportunities all the time in the 6-yard box. He loves to drop deep and integrate himself with the rest of his teammates. Christopher Nkunku goes off injured. There definitely seems to be a lovely little partnership building there between Nkunku and Jackson. Telepathy, in a sense, with the way that Nkunku plays those little flicks. Jackson also with the flicks. The goal that Chelsea nearly scored in the first half, which should have been a penalty, really. Nkunku is fouled, and that is the foul that led to him hobbling and then taken off the pitch with an ice pack on his ankle. That should have been a pen. Chelsea should have won this game. They really, really should have done. There was also the Colwill chance early on too. But Jackson couldn't do much more with the finish. Max Meyer closes him down. There's also one where Thiago Silva plays an exquisite ball over the top. Jackson's first touch is magnificent, and then the pitch does the pitch again. And next thing you know, he's rounded the goalie, and he puts it just over the crossbar. Overall, the movement from Nicholas Jackson is a breath of fresh air. To see a striker already creating these partnerships, smiling on the field for Chelsea, confident enough to take players on, to make those little touches, to involve other players around him. Nicholas Jackson is the real deal, and I think overall, if there was one key thing to bring from this pre-season, Chelsea don't need to spend 100 million on a striker, because Nicholas Jackson is that guy. Moving into box number 2, it's a red for Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling was given pretty much the entirety of the match. I think he might have even finished the whole game, and he didn't deliver. There were a couple of good recoveries from him, a couple of times where he plays a good pass. Overall, the final decision-making of Raheem Sterling is atrocious. It is not a £47 million player. It's not a player who has won multiple league titles at Man City, scored hundreds of goals in his career. This is not the Raheem Sterling that Chelsea have at the club. I'm sorry, he's not good enough. He's absolutely not good enough. And if I was Pochettino, I think he gave him the match today. People in the live stream chat were saying, Poch has got this all wrong. He's left Sterling off. He should be taking him off. I think he's left him on to give him as much time as he can as a high-profile winger at the club to show what he can do. And unfortunately, I think any plans that Angelo might have had to enjoy a little season in France to get consistent minutes, he may have to be a substitute at the start of the season, because Angelo can't go on loan at this point, in my opinion, because Sterling doesn't have anywhere near enough urgency. The work rate comes in fits and starts. 1 minute he's tracking back and getting the ball. The next minute he's kind of not bothering or not following up after he makes a nice pass. He's not then trying to enter the box and try and become the second man. The ball was played forward to Jackson. He holds it up brilliantly, but Sterling is there just like running is the word that you want to use, but he wasn't doing that. It wasn't good enough. And I think there are serious questions about whether or not Raheem Sterling is anywhere near the starting 11 for the beginning of the season. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Box number 3, I've given a yellow to Kane Chukwuemeka. Super excited to see him play in the number 10. If you watch my match preview for this game, I said Kane should be as the number 10. I think this season Nkunku will be the number 10 and Kane will be the backup from what we've got in the squad right now. In the first half, he struggled to impose himself. He wasn't getting on the ball. And a lot of that, you could say, could be down to Sterling. He was playing quite close to Raheem Sterling, and Sterling wasn't giving him the ball because he kept giving it away. But for Kans, it wasn't an awful performance. In the second half, he was getting onto the ball a bit deeper, making good passes, quick passes into the final third, and then he was trying to arrive into the box also late. But I think overall, question marks again, wasn't the strongest performance. Dortmund are a great side. I also want to say credit to Borussia Dortmund. They defended impeccably throughout the match. Box number 4 is a green for Colwill and Silva together. You might be thinking, how can you give Levi Colwill a green after he missed the 2 biggest Chelsea chances, which would have seen us demolish Dortmund, and I'd have got my score prediction right again. Defensively, these two look like the real deal. The passing from the back, the balls over the top from Thiago, magnificent. The competence, the confidence, the comfortability on the ball from Thiago Silva, unbelievable. And I'm delighted Colwill has signed this new deal, because signing a 6-year contract at Chelsea, we're not going to see Colwill x Silva for 6 years. But when it comes to generational centre-backs, Thiago Silva was one of those. Colwill could very easily be one of those. And to see the two together, Colwill's development is going to skyrocket, playing with Thiago Silva. And defensively, Dortmund didn't really have a sniff. They scored 1 goal that is like the ball somehow managed to make it to Marius Wolf. They go 1-0 up. Other than that, there was 1 shot from outside the box that Kepa didn't need to save, but he did. And overall, I'm so excited for this centre-back combination. Moving into a yellow box combination here, Mudryk and Enzo I've given yellows to. Both of these individuals had really good moments in this game, but we need more. Mudryk, I need better decision making. There was a couple of lovely touches, brilliant bursts round the defenders, great crosses, creating openings. I think maybe Mudryk here is unfortunate to get a yellow, but I still think there's so much more. He didn't play badly, he didn't. But a couple of times, the final ball wasn't enough. Enzo Fernandez, brilliant assist. How he manages to win a header against that Dortmund defence to give Burstow the chance to score, I don't know. But he does it and he wins it. Excellent stuff. But other than that, I think this game told us so desperately how Chelsea need Caicedo. We are desperate for Moises Caicedo. Gallagher plays the full 90 alongside Enzo. Again, I think it's better in that pivot than we saw at times last season, but also it's not complete enough. He doesn't have that full arsenal of ability in that role that Caicedo does. I think this game showed that if we want Enzo to be the best Enzo that we know he can be, he needs a better partner in front of that defence. I'm surprised we didn't see any of Andre Santos in this game. I expected him to at least get a few minutes, but he didn't. But from Enzo and Mudryk, we're talking about 160 million here. Both of them need to improve. They weren't bad, but they need to improve. Box number 6, I am absolutely delighted for Mason Burstow. He gets the equaliser, which was the minimum that Chelsea deserved for this game. During this pre-season, Burstow has been on the tour. He gets 45 minutes, I think, in the last game that we played, and was unlucky. He was trying to get involved. I said he was trying too hard. And then in this one, he comes on again for a little cameo. You might think, well, Poch has given up on the game here because he's bringing on the kid who hasn't really done much else in pre-season. But Mason Burstow, if you watch him in the Chelsea reserves, this kid can score. He knows where the goal is. He works very hard for the team. He's a fighter, and he wants to be here. And for him to score against Borussia Dortmund, to keep Chelsea's unbeaten pre-season, that goal, in terms of like eclipsing the energy shift at Chelsea, means so much. To not lose the game in 5 when we deserve to win again today. That goal, him being there, winning the header, great header, gets enough on it so that no defenders can clear it, goalkeeper can't save it, and I'm delighted for him. I think it is a beautiful end to the pre-season where Chelsea have got a young squad. We've got a new manager. Pochettino's come in. We know that there's inexperience in this team. We need more experience, but it's the youngster who probably nobody thinks has a chance. He's going to go on loan, but he gets that goal to keep Chelsea sweet. Chelsea won, Dortmund won. This is 6 things we learned. If you did enjoy it, please hit the like button, subscribe. If you are new, come on you Blues.